Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson-Milton.
Welcome to another episode of Intentionality, the show dedicated to increasing the success rate of entrepreneurs and their businesses by sharing the strategies and tactics of successful suppliers. I am your host, Dominique Simpson-Milton. Today's show is being brought to you by Ferguson and CVMSDC, also known as the Council. Maya Angelou once said, "Without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, true, merciful, generous, or honest." Our next guest, Stephanie Salazar, Inderlied, exemplifies this courage in the male-dominated world of commercial construction. As the founder and leader of ADA Contracting, she is one of just 300 suppliers in Ferguson's exclusive DAP program. Through bold leadership and intentional action, she is breaking barriers, creating opportunities, and leaving a lasting impact on the industry. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for your kind introduction. Great to be here.
Yes, we're so glad that you're here. And thank you for speaking at our AMP conference as well. Stephanie, tell our audience how you got started in this business.
Well, I can start by saying that I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial heart. And back in 2022, I was getting ADA contracting certified through CVMSDC's MBE certification program. And through that certification, one of the perks that you all offer is making introductions to corporate partners. And that is how I met Kathy Williams of Ferguson. And so through that meeting, it has really allowed me to fulfill the entrepreneurial dream through ADA contracting.
Excellent. So you said you joined us. So that's what a lot of people don't understand, the importance of utilizing advocacy groups to help you with your business. Are you also a member of WeBank?
Absolutely. We are WOSB and WBE certified.
That is excellent. When I was in MBE, we had every certification that you can get because each certification offers you different opportunities. So kudos to you. But through that certification, you met Kathy Williams and you got into this program at Ferguson. Tell us about the program that you're in.
So the DAP program is awesome, and I cannot speak more highly than I can about it. I mean, it's been instrumental in catapulting ADA contracting to a profitable, sustainable business. And so 25 years ago, Kathy Williams, with her team in Supplier Diversity, founded the DAP program, Distributor Alliance Partner Program. There's about 300 of us across the country. We're one of them. We have the ability to, after extreme vetting of our company and having a commercially useful function, CUF, and an acumen in the space, as well as certifications, we were able to be part of the program. And that allows us to resell their material to the trades that are installing them.
Excellent. Excellent. So now break it down for our audience on a third grade level. What exactly does your company do?
So we are a distributor. Okay. So we have customers, i.e. the trades, plumbing companies, mechanical companies, industrial companies, waterworks companies, everything that you see commercially that is being built underground and above ground. We procure that material on our customers' behalf through Ferguson. So we are essentially the middle woman, not the middleman.
I love it. I love it. And in the male-dominated area, how have you just progressed? How when it comes time for you to bid on a contract and you're up against 10 other people, what would you say that you've done that's different than other people to be able to progress?
I would say, I'm certainly not an anomaly, but I've been in the boardroom where I've been the only female with about 25 men. And when you speak their language, which, by the way, I do hold a Class A contractor's license, which is what gives you and all these trades the ability, or general contractors, the ability to build a building. Once they meet me and I speak their language, they realize that okay, she's going to bring value. And then when it comes time to actually competing, for the opportunities, the projects, it truly is relationship based. And then you're able to get into the negotiation part where you're working together to collaborate and win the business together, not actually do a hard bid and compete.
So what I heard you say is when you come to the table, be able to speak the language. You need to be able to build relationships so that you can compete. And then when you get to the table, if you're bringing that value, people will listen to you.
Absolutely. It is not a cliche. It is not a tagline. It is 100% true that business owners succeed through relationships and the value that you bring. So you have to, it's not just what I, hear you say, it's what I see you do. And one of the biggest things for us is follow through and, measure 3 times, cut once. We're here to do it right and not create a headache, but streamline the process and make your job easier.
So talk to me about a relationship that maybe you've built that just maybe started out not on the right foot, but that it ended up being a fabulous relationship. Do you have any stories like that?
Absolutely. Our largest customer, Precision Plumbing, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, gave us an opportunity in the early part of our business. And we had nothing. We were doing everything manual. We didn't, I say we, it was me, myself, and I. And then through that partnership, I was able to bring people on to do the necessary roles, the accounting, the request for quotes, the invoicing, to allow me to continue to grow and nurture the relationship on, okay, how can we improve? What can we do to better this so that we can take it to the next level? And they've become our biggest customer and what we say bread and butter. So what we're trying to do is really replicate that type of relationship because they've been such a wonderful, patient partner with us as we've had hiccups as a small business.
So you asked for feedback along the way as you were growing and building. Talk to me about what were some of the hiccups that you faced?
Well, I would say invoicing on time. At the end of the day, when you go from a manual part of business, which I heard Dr. Reddix talk about, you got to get into the technology piece that can help you scale and sustain the amount of paperwork that is generated from truly what is a simple, in theory, business model, right? We're a middleman. So we're receiving requests for quotes. We're receiving purchase orders, and then we're invoicing. But all of those steps really create a massive amount of paperwork, of which we have processes and protocols to follow so that we can replicate it. But I would say, early on, it was patience with billing. And once you have a true understanding of how the accounting process works, because you got to know where your dollars are going and what you're spending them on, that will keep you going in the long haul.
Well, that's good because cash flow is very important. And I just received invoices for the last 3 years from a particular client who we purchased items for, and they had never invoiced us, right? And all of a sudden, she sent me these invoices from 3 years back. And I was like, you really need to get your processes in place, right, to be able to get your cash flow straight. So cash flow is one. Tell us about another lesson that you've learned along the way that would be helpful for our listeners to understand.
I would say what can make or break your business is people. And it's so critical that you truly vet who comes on to your team. We are a small but mighty team. We obviously are all individuals who have different experiences, backgrounds in the workplace. But when you're dealing with high volume and you have a small team, you want to make sure that the people who are coming on board are going to mesh right and that they're going to understand what the mission is, the vision is, and how to implement it through the processes that we have worked very hard to create and implement.
How many people do you have on your team?
We currently have 3, with a 4th we are hiring, but then we have a fractional CFO and we have a business advisor. So we have a very strong team, very smart people, all smarter than me. But they see the vision, they understand the vision, and they are implementing it with me.
So let's talk about fractional support for a moment. I didn't think we were going to go here, but let's talk about fractional support because small organizations, and you're a tier 3, so that's over $10 million a year. Small organizations need to understand how to bring in the talent that they need without having them on staff. So you said you have fractional CFO?
Yes.
What about HR? Do you have fractional HR?
I do not. I do not have fractional HR. Right now, I feel like I have the capacity and capability to handle that with me and our COO. So we have not taken on any fractional HR. I believe in time that's something that we would look into because the business is scaling quite quickly and the hiring demand is presenting itself sooner than I thought. So
good. So get ready for that. So now, in terms of where you can service, do you cover the whole United States or are you regional?
I do. We can have a national footprint because Ferguson has a national footprint. But right now we're along the mid-Atlantic. We're in 8 states and we're expanding as we speak into different divisions and different states. I actually just got off a call about moving more north than we currently are in a new division, which is exciting. So with that, though, comes a heavy lift. But what we're doing is we're trying to replicate the process of how we enter a market and then expand so that we can do that with another state, which involves a lot of things, including certifications.
Excellent. Now, do you have distribution points that are in line with Ferguson's distribution points?
So the way that it works is when we have a customer that needs to procure material through Ada Contracting, we, based on where they are located, we procure the material through Ferguson in that same area. But the beauty in that same market, the beauty of Ferguson is that they do have a national footprint. So if there is a lack of material in that closest state to that to the customer, they can go elsewhere. They have logistics down.
So one of the things that I find, Stephanie, is a pitfall for some businesses is that they're not in control of their supply chain, right? And that's why I asked about that proximity question. So do you feel like you have a handle on your own personal supply chain to be able to service your clients?
Absolutely. And I give all the praise to Ferguson. They really are the model supplier and the number one supplier of commercial material in the country, which is why I have aligned Ada Contracting with Ferguson because they are the gold standard. They know how to do it, and they're like family. I mean, literally, these people that I talk to all the time, I know about their children. I know about their spouses. We talk about vacations. We talk about, the challenges that this business can pose, whether it's, dealing with the dynamics of a customer and satisfying them, or, hey, we need to, make sure that we get submittals in or that we're billing on time. So I really feel that we are a strong, sustainable business because we have partnered with Ferguson.
Excellent. And I love the relationship that you've built there. So, Stephanie, one of my favorite questions is, what is the difference between working on your business versus working in your business?
Ooh, okay. Wow. Great question. So I feel like I have come out of a season of working in the business because it is what demanded of me in this season. When we go back to one of the things that's most important is hiring the right people, I made the mistake of not hiring the right people. And it was a perfect storm to position me to have to work in the business, which is cleanup, organization, SOPs, instead of working on the business, which is what I love to do, is getting out, shaking hands, FaceTime, going to networking events, strategy, marketing, all those things. So those are, to me, not getting caught up in the day-to-day. What can I check off of my list today? But bigger picture strategy type things that we need to work on.
Well, I love your answer there, Stephanie, because a lot of people don't realize that you're going to go through different seasons, right? So as you said, there's different seasons. Some seasons you are working in the business to get things aligned and maintained. And then there's other seasons where you need to be working on the business so that you can catapult the business. Because working on the business, that means that you're looking at the future, right? It's the trajectory of where you're going to go. When you're working in the business, you're either maintaining or fixing, doing what needs to be done. But your people need to see you able to work in the business and able to do all the things that you're asking them to do. So thank you for that. Thank you. So where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now?
I hope still working. I don't necessarily want to reveal my age. It's crazy how fast time goes. But I truly love what I do. I wake up every day happy and ready to, roll up my sleeves and do whatever it takes. And, but I would probably say, diversifying a little bit more than what we're doing, possibly, absolutely with Ferguson, and being the model partner for Ferguson, the model DAP partner, and helping to mentor and bring up the next group of DAPs. If they want to talk to me about how I got started, what can I do to help them? I'm always happy to do that. I think the difference lies between, are you willing to do it or not? And be patient, because it doesn't happen overnight. This didn't happen. This didn't happen as soon as I received the certification and met Kathy. There was years and what I say, blood, sweat, tears, and years that got me to the point to actually meet CVMSDC and get certified, and then meet Kathy. And then that is when all that hard work, all those seeds that were planted,
yes,
the fruit.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad I heard you say you want to give back, pay it forward, right? Working with other people going through the program, but also diversifying, making sure that you have other customers and you're looking at other lines of work. So really, I appreciate you being here today to impart your knowledge. Congratulations on your years of success. You've done a phenomenal job, and just continued success to you as you grow your business. I appreciate you being here, Stephanie.
No.
So if you're interested in more information, please visit adacontracting.com. Well, that concludes today's episode of Intentionality. Be sure to join me for our next episode, and remember that we must always remain intentional to gain knowledge, skills, and connections so we can grow and thrive in business together. I'm Dominique Simpson-Milton, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of Intentionality with Dominique, brought to you by the CVMSDC. For more information, please visit cvmsdc.org.